Hi guys, it's Tina here. It's been ages since I uploaded a video. There's a huge story behind it. I'm not going to go into that right now. But the reason why I'm uploading a video today is because I want to get back into doing some more YouTube videos. And basically because this is the season, or there's a new season now and new stuff's happening, and I thought maybe some of you guys could benefit from some of my experience in my particular cold environment, climate, especially with orchids. So today I'm just gonna do a quick video about orchids and humidity. And the reason why I just thought about this was because it's morning. I just did the drop off with my two girls at school. The humidity inside this morning is 75. It's above what is supposed to be in, like, you know, a normal home. It's not good. It's not supposed to be like this. That's not good for your health either in your house. So obviously I'd need to air out, but it is early in the morning. We just got up, got dressed, breakfast, school, you know, so I air out. But it's also to do with something, or something to do with my environment. And because for those of you guys who live in Scandinavia, you should know, or you would know, that we had a huge heat wave, which is not usual for the Danish environment. It was like going, you know, abroad. It was like going on holiday. And I, not being a expert on weather, it kind of feels like it's just gone from super hot to autumn. Usually we have that nice transition. It goes into September, around my youngest daughter's birthday, and that's when it starts getting coldish, you know, where you want to put your comfy socks on and get your sweater out. But it seems like the weather's here now, and even even outside it's looking like autumn a bit. So besides the fact that you should definitely air out if you live in an environment that has high humidity or high humidity seasons, make sure that not to keep your windows open all day long, but you know, you air out 2 to 3 times a day, at least 5 minutes at a time. And it should be like where you can feel, you know, the gush of wind sort of thing, you know, one room to another. But the humidity is still going to be high, which for orchid collectors such as me is quite nice if there are certain orchids that you like to have. And yeah, there are certain orchids that like the high humidity more than others, and I benefit from that. But also the reason why I thought about this was because today is watering day, and I was looking at my Bellina, and I've done a video a while ago, like, is it almost a half a year ago or something? It's just a long time ago. And so she's telling me that she needs watering now, but she's usually in summer hydroponics, and I did a video about how I do summer hydroponics, but I have not shown you guys what I do when it starts getting cold outside with my experiments. And keep in mind, summer hydroponics, or the hydroponic thing, for me, I've only done it for around a year, so these things are fairly new to me still, and that is why I am videoing this. This is why I'm showing it off for other people, especially, you know, you might have a species, look at that, first time bloomer, that you really don't want, you know. It took me a year to get her to bloom, over a year to get her to bloom. So I don't want her to die because I'm not paying properly attention, and I'm treating her like she's using the usual bark media or whatever I would usually use. So here's my tip for high humidity. I assume you can also use this other places around the world. It's not only Scandinavia that have these typical humid and coldish autumns. You know, where it's like the sun's high in during the day, well maybe not so much today, but you have cold evenings, which leads to this humidity during the morning and during the evening. So yeah, so what I wanted to tell you guys is down it down a bit with the watering. Down it down, meaning don't stop watering, but don't overdo it either. Especially with the hydroponics, I emptied them out. I emptied this out around a week ago. And I'm starting to give them what I call a dry period. I won't focus. And they're still loving it. New tips there. And I can see she's in need of watering. What I find will happen is they will dry out fast, obviously, because they're used to this high moist environment. But because you're not doing it in a one-pot method, you're doing it in a two-pot method, you can easily empty it out as soon as. So you won't have this excessive water lock around your roots, plus the high humidity. I mean, how are they going to breathe? You think about it yourself. My skin is itching. It can't breathe. Your skin cells, they breathe as well. You know how if you're in water for too long, your fingers kind of go, wrinkly. That's your skin not being able to breathe. And the orchid roots needs to do that too. So if the air is moist and the environment that they're sitting in is moist, how are they breathing? So you need to remove that water that's not needed, but they still need to be watered. So I kind of go back to what I would usually do with the bark, you know. Obviously you can't really soak lacquer. So what I would do is, or what I will do is, I'll show you, is I'll find a spot. Don't mind some of the dry roots. Had, like I tell you, some issues with some very hot weather. So what I would do or will do is I'm simply just going to fill the reservoir bit here. There's some fertilizer in this water as well. There we go. Just so you can kind of feel, so that you know, obviously because I've done it with this pot a million times, I now know that the pot is kind of covered like around a 7 centimeter up, so that the roots will definitely they will wig up and get moist. But I'm not going to leave that reservoir in for more than probably a day. I'll pick it up, have a look at it, because I don't want them to be wet to the touch any longer because of the weather, because of the breathing. I really hope this makes sense, because I cannot back this up with some insane science or anything like that. I'm very much into biology, and maybe perhaps one day I could sit down and make you a spreadsheet that explains all of this. But at the same time, I want this to be explained in the way that everybody understands it, instead of, you know, insane biological terms or whatever. So if you're not quite sure what I mean, please do comment in the comments below, because I will explain it. And keep in mind, this is from my experience only. I'm only sharing what I do and what works for me. And you can try it out at home. If you're having issues with this, of course, or if you think it sounds like a good idea. But yeah, on with it. I will leave her in, but I will definitely be looking out for moist roots, or not moist roots, but wet roots. Let me show you an example. Excuse the boxes. Yes, I moved again, which is part of the story. Very long story. Basically, just to cut it down into short, I am done with renting private property. There's always something wrong with it, and I don't want to put my family through that. I don't want them to have to move constantly, so this time we moved in with a big company, a housing company. I believe you got oh no, that's something way different, isn't it? No, you know, like a company that owns a lot of houses, and they actually make sure it's proper, and they have a janitor that comes, you know, if your toilet needs fixing. It's not just one person who owns a house they don't want to sell, so they rent it out, sort of thing. Anyways, see, I have the issue here. It's not, you can't see it properly. This annoys me. But this root especially takes ages to dry out because it's one of the older roots. So it will be very wet to the touch, usually. And I don't like that because that's kind of giving the opportunity to get infected, bacterial, fungal, especially mold, and rot. So try not to do that with the humid environment. Other than that, what I have left, because I did lose a lot of orchids during the move again, which usually happens, but the trusty Nighty Fells, the hardy girls, they're here still. But yeah, then I still have my semi-hydroponic ones, this one and this one, and the Bellina. So, and they're doing great with this. But just keep in mind, make sure that when you start putting them in semi-hydroponics, if you want to do it the two-step way, for a cold weather method sort of thing, make sure you sometimes give them a dry period still, or they won't get, it will, because I tried this last year. If they're used to having constant reservoir all the time, say for like half a year, every day, and then winter comes and you don't want them to get cold, when you then kind of what I call it a dry period, don't I? Even though it's not really dry, it's because it's more wet in the air and humid and whatnot. When you give them the dry period, they're gonna they're not used to the air, because even though it's moist, the roots, they are used to a even more moist environment. Does it make sense? So make sure that they get the taste of not having a reservoir just a couple of days, also during summer. So yeah, I have loads of stories still and loads of things I want to share with you guys. I have some new additions, trying out some new different orchids as well. I lost mainly a specific group, all my stem types, during the move as well, and I might have a fail, which is my high light intensive orchids, which were perfect for the other house, but not so much in this. But let's see. So loads and loads of stories, but for this, just for now, especially for you guys who are into the semi-hydroponic craze, be aware. I find, my advice, I would say, is don't let your roots be wet to the touch. Empty out the reservoir and keep an eye on it. Make sure they're moist, because they're used to the moist environment. So don't let them dry out completely like an area root. They will definitely wither and die then, because then it will dry out. You will then soak them again, and that will definitely give rot. Yeah, keep an eye on them. This is kind of, now that this is the hard time, I'd say, for having orchids in a colder weather environment, because now is the time where they need to show us how strong, or they can show us how well we cared for them during the summer and during the root period and, you know, the growth period, because it is kind of the tough part now. So the weak individuals will definitely wither and die within the next few months. So yeah, have a nice day. I hope this helps somebody. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing loads of more videos. Bye.